and welcome to Baby Lady Podcast. I'm Debbie Homer Davis and I run the largest independent nursery store in Kent. Over this time, I've been lucky enough to meet some amazing people, and some of them have agreed to join me on our podcast. We'll have managing directors, CEOs, as well as children's authors, car seat experts, and health professionals. All of these people have one thing in common. They're passionate about what they do, and they've agreed to share their knowledge and enthusiasm on our podcast. So I am very, very delighted to have on our Baby Lady podcast today, Michael Heppell. Michael is an award-winning best-selling author. He sold 7 best-selling books, including one that topped the Sunday Times bestseller list. He's known as one of the top 3 speakers in the world. He's a coach. He also teaches people how to write books, and ultimately he teaches people how to be brilliant. So welcome, Michael. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you join us today.
What an introduction. I'd better be brilliant, Debbie.
You're always brilliant, Michael.
I'm on. I'm ready. Let's do it.
I first came across your book, How to Save an Hour a Day, about 10 years ago, at quite a critical point in my life where I was really getting quite overwhelmed. And from there, I've sort of been following you, and I know that people can join your newsletters and things like that. And then during lockdown, you set up this amazing group called How to Be Brilliant. It's actually a Facebook group, and I joined that, as did many other people, and it's been amazing. Do you want to tell us a bit more about it?
Well, yeah, I actually did it before all the lockdown, but it took off during the lockdown because it very quickly became this place which was, I would describe as a beacon of positivity. There was so much negativity. There was so much for people to worry about. And so we created this group called How to Be Brilliant. And basically every day of the week, we do something that encourages people to be brilliant. So on a Monday, we do Magic Monday. And then on a Tuesday, we did a Teach Me Tuesday for a while. We now do a thing where people share their photographs. We have Wellness Wednesday, and people talk about health things. And we have a guy who comes on, does a health talk every week. And then on a Thursday, we have Thoughtful Thursday. So we think about being thoughtful with something, maybe what we do, our actions, a little bit of personal development. On a Friday, we have Feel Good Friday, and we often reminisce about what it was like to be around in the 80s and all that sort of stuff. Favorite 80s song and best chocolate biscuit and all that type of stuff. Then on a weekend, we usually do a couple of fun posts, and people share ideas and they share help and support. It really is quite something.
So you were incredibly generous with your time, because obviously you are a very, very busy person, as we know. And you've done all of this. You set this up, I said, just before lockdown, but it really took off. And you shared huge amounts of your time for free. There was no charge. Yeah. Anyone can join. There's no sort of criteria. Anyone can join, and they can still do that, can't they?
Absolutely. I mean, one of my strong beliefs is the secret of living is giving. And I'm very fortunate that I'm able to do this stuff. I know how to do it. And so why wouldn't I put it out there? And the real wonderful thing is that I do other things that I get paid for, and often what happens is people are introduced to me by some of the free stuff. So it's a win-win for everybody.
So talking about some of the people you work with, I know you've worked with some hugely famous people. We read about your help with Sarah Cox, and I know that that was actually mentioned in the Daily Mail recently. And you've also worked with Davina McCall. I know that Chris Evans quotes your book on his radio show, the Flip It book, which I absolutely love. Flip It is, for those of you who are listening who don't know, is the most amazing book. And it basically teaches you how to turn a situation that you might see as negative into a positive. And for me, that is probably a huge, that was a huge change when I actually got to grasp that. For me, it helped me massively.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the people that you've worked with and how you get introduced to them.
So there are some famous people, but the vast majority of people aren't famous. Everyone just wants to be better. So I kind of find myself working with people who do want to be better at what they do. And it's that classic thing, what do you do? What's your job? Remember, people do that thing about an elevator pitch. What's your job? And it took me a long time to work out exactly what it is that I do. So I say I teach people how to be brilliant. And then the next question is usually, well, how do you do that? I say, well, I find out where people are now. I find out where they want to get to, and I help them to fill the gap. So I'm probably a gap filler more than anything. But I want to help people do that as quickly as possible, as economically as possible, and make it as enjoyable as possible. So that's what I do. And I'll do that with coaching, or I do that with speaking, or I do that with the online groups or the books that I've written.
Not only are you an award-winning author, but as part of, I suppose in lockdown, you also set up a sort of breakaway group in teaching people how to write a book. Now, that's been massively, massively successful. How many people from that group have now published books? There's loads.
We've got about 30 now. I mean, the weird thing with that, Debbie, was I was doing How to Be Brilliant, and I thought, I wonder if I could do another little pop-up. So I just took one in, I think it was every 50 members, sent them a direct message and said, what would you like me to teach you? So I gave 3 choices, and the 3 choices were how to save an hour every day, the book that you talked about before, so some time management, or maybe something around some customer service, or do we want to do some more stuff around brilliance and kind of getting the edge and that sort of stuff? And then just as I was about to press send, I thought, I'll add one more, how to write a book. 75% of people came back with how to write a book. So I was like, right, okay, I'll do that. So I set up a group called Write That Book as a pop-up group. We had, a lot of people join. It was very busy. And then the next question was, well, what are you going to do next with these people? And you've kind of got people to a point where they know their title, they know their promise, they know what they want to say, they know how to build a tribe, but you've got to help people to publish their books. So I was like, all right, okay. So we created a masterclass called Write That Book Masterclass. And we had 74 people join, I think. And from those 74, as I say, 30 of them are now published. We did another one, a smaller one that started it last autumn. And from there, we've got another whole batch that are published, and probably got another 60 in the pipeline. So we're doing it again. So if people want to find out more, just writethatbook.co.uk, and all the information's there. And Debbie, I'm going to let you know something, which this is hot off the press because we haven't announced it yet. We're going to announce it later this week.
Oh, I love newness. I absolutely love finding out things.
Okay, so this is the big scoop. I've set a big goal. So I love having a big goal in my life. One of my big goals was I wanted to positively influence 1 million lives. When I started my business, that was the goal. But now I've got a new goal, and my big goal that's driving me and getting me out of bed every morning is I'm going to help 1,000 people to write 1,000 books in 1,000 days.
Wow. Oh my goodness, God, that is a big ask. But I mean, in fairness, you have helped people publish some amazing books. We actually interviewed Diane Hull, who is the most fantastic woman.
Brilliant.
She is brilliant, and she has written an amazing children's book. And I'm going to be interviewing another of your authors as well later on in the series. So and I've read, I'm struggling. To be honest, I've bought most of the books, but I'm struggling to find the time to read all of them. There's Ian with his story of his taking his family around the world, Ian Pilbeam with his
Are We There Yet?
And there's just so many. And you talked about briefly about Wellness Wednesday on the How to Be Brilliant group. Obviously, there's the amazing Dean who comes on every week and teaches us really all sorts of things about health and nutrition. And he is also publishing a book, I think, next month. So it's so much going on. How do you hope to manage? Because that's a very big, that 1,000 in 1,000 days, that's a big total.
Yeah. Well, I think the way to do it is to have a very good process. So I teach people, I've kind of mastered over the last year how to do it. So I know how to do it. I know how to help other people to do it. I've learned from the mistakes. I've learned from, the bits that I've been overthinking. But the other thing that I've done, which I think is really smart, is I've got together a group of people who I call the masters. And the masters are there to help and give advice. So I've interviewed all of these people. They've been amazing with their time, but they also, the vast majority of them, give us their contact details and say, look, if somebody from the Write That Book group wants to contact me, I'll certainly have a look at their work. So, for example, the agent that we've got. So we've got 2 agents that we've interviewed. The first agent is a guy called Rory Scarf. Now, you've probably not heard of Rory Scarf, but his agency, the Blair Partnership, represents J.K. Rowling. So you've got one of the biggest author in the world, her agent, telling people exactly what they need to do to work with an agent and how to get an agent. It's brilliant. And people have been so great with their time. And like we've got a guy who's a children's author who said, look, basically when people write children's books, they don't think about the process of selling them. They kind of have this strange belief that they'll just, people will just buy it. Well, they won't. You have to sell it. So he talks about how to write books and sell them. And that's that's my promise to people. Write, publish, and sell your book in 2021. A good idea, that's fine. It's got to be published and it's got to be sold.
And it's fair to say that those people who have already published books have had a huge amount of help in terms of publicity and how to get that across. What I've been so impressed about, I don't want to write a book. I like to talk, but it's been amazing how generous people have been in terms of supporting others and helping promote and sell and share that. And that's been phenomenal through across the groups.
Yeah, but that's the thing with that, Debbie, is I think that I attract people who want to give first. There's a lot of stuff that happens within these communities where so I joined lots of other Facebook groups and other communities, especially at the start of the whole lockdown thing, to see what was happening. And loads of them, they're just like, people go on there, they just start pitching what they do. Oh, I'm a coach, I can do this. I'm a yoga teacher, I'll do that. Oh, I sell pasties through the mail or whatever. And nobody's interested in that. And I wanted to set up a group where people would go and say, hi, how can I help you? So we've got over 3,000 members now in How to Be Brilliant. And if somebody posts a comment on there and goes, hi, anybody got any advice on, you can guarantee a whole bunch of people are going to come along and say, have you thought about this? Or here's an idea. Or if somebody's kind of going, oh, I've had a bit of a low week, there's going to be 10 people who are going to say, I know how it feels, but it will feel better. And they get direct messages. And so I think it's having an attitude of coming from a place of wanting to give. And from that, then you get a lot more out of it. And it works really well.
It definitely does. I know that you have encouraged me through the groups and obviously on some of the chats that we've had. I don't think a year and a half ago that I would have had, I definitely wouldn't have even thought about podcasting. And that came to me through the link that you have with Jeffrey Gittimer, who also broadcasted, every day for over a year, as this has gone past a year now. And they talked about podcasting, and you've encouraged me to produce videos, and you didn't have to help us do these things, but I don't think we would have had the confidence to do that. And I've had so much help and encouragement, and I am incredibly grateful, because it is now my passion to bring information to people. As you teach people to be brilliant, I am passionate about sharing information with people about baby products, which is what I know about. And this is another way
Debbie,
of doing
can I just say you do that really well. You've got this wonderful way with your enthusiasm in front of the camera to share a product and to share the features and the benefits and why this one and how that would work and who it's right for. And when you do that, because you're so open with it, you create a lot of instant trust. If I'm buying a product, if I'm spending, £1,000 on a baby buggy or whatever, I need to know that the person who's telling me about that knows their stuff, knows their onions. And that's what you're brilliant at. Now, you've always been good at it. And I know that if somebody walked into the shop, they would get that. But this is a different world now. So now it's just, you've got to broadcast it out there. So I love the fact you're doing this. It could have been very easy for you just to have people to come on and talk about baby stuff. But no, you said, Michael, come on, let's just talk about How to Be Brilliant. Let's talk about writing books. Let's talk about other stuff. And you know what? If we mention some baby stuff, great. But it's not about that. It's about getting knowledge out there.
But it is, you see, everybody I've interviewed has got one thing in common. They're all passionate about what they're doing. They're all passionate. And that is the link between all of the podcasts that we've done. And you're passionate about helping people and making them brilliant and making them better. And you've definitely, I know we've talked about this already, but you definitely have encouraged me to take on new things that maybe I just needed a little bit of a push to feel confident doing. And I am just one of thousands, which you are incredibly generous with your time. And I know you're very, very busy. So I am very, very grateful. But yeah, so we have pushed ourselves, but also lockdown made us all think about things differently. It made us think about our business differently and how we could share the information, because we couldn't see customers face to face. And the feedback that we've had is that our videos are helping people, you know, when they get stuck, when they need help. They may not have bought from us, but it's still helping. And that's what we want to do. So that's really, really good. So on top of the How to Be Brilliant group and your masterclass about books, you also managed to write a best-selling book, which was completely sold out before it was even published.
This is 17. So 17, basically the story behind this was that I started this wonderful Write That Book group, and all these people are writing books. And I remember after the first training session, saying to my wonderful wife, Christine, I said, I feel really bad. She said, well, how can you feel bad? What's wrong? I said, well, all these people are writing these amazing books and I'm not writing a book. So she went, well, write one then. So, okay, that's good advice, isn't it? Write one. So I love this number 17, and 17 can be used in so many different ways. 17% more, 17% less, 17-minute sprints, lists of 17, you know, after 10, it makes you think harder. So I thought, I wonder if I could put a book together called 17. So I did. So I wrote this book and then create a little pop-up group to get a bit of excitement around it. And again, from the pop-up, there's people going, oh, this is great. And people love this idea of things like massive action projects, spending 3 months just focusing on one thing to get it over the line and to stretch yourself, and to create communities, and to bring in knowledge and information for people that we couldn't normally get a hold of. So we started this group called 17, and we do all sorts of wonderful stuff. And you know, you're a very active member of it, Debbie, and it's an incredible group of people. I mean, really incredible. And one of the, we do these interviews called 17 minutes with, and they're not one of them has lasted for 17 minutes. They always run over because the people are just so generous and giving. So the very first one was Davina McCall, who you mentioned earlier. Davina just came on. She's just very open, just talking about stuff. I was like, wow, you know, she doesn't have to tell us this. It was brilliant. Patrick Kilty, the comedian.
Oh, Patrick Kilty, I mean, he said in his interview with you, you asked them about a question about a life lesson, which I think you're very good at. And he said, no one cares. And for me, that was like really, particularly when I was pushing myself to do things that I was quite nervous about. And I was like, oh, what if it goes wrong? And what if I make a fool of myself? Or, you know, everyone thinks I'm being an idiot or whatever. And it was just that thing. It was like a light bulb thing. No one cares. It was, and again, so generous with what he was sharing.
Yeah. It's brilliant. And then we've had, Dame Kelly Hoppen, the designer, and she was again, but she's shown us around her new house. Like the press hadn't been there, anything like that. She had to show you around with my laptop, just walk around, showing us around. And then some of the sort of lesser known people, but really interesting people. So, Dr. Guillermo Recatero, who is just this amazing body doctor who used to work with the footballers at Real Madrid and does stuff. Just brilliant people. And they come on and they share. And then we do this thing called Stream 17, where we learn new tools and techniques. And again, with that's been a lot of fun. I'm learning as much by running the group as I am, as I would by being a part of the group. I learn every single day from it. It's great.
We all learn from each other, actually. It is quite fascinating. There are experts in so many different fields, and not just on the 17 group in the How to Be Brilliant. And people are very, very generous. That's one thing I have found, is that people have been so kind, even down to trying to find music for my podcast, which we had a bit of a challenge. I posted, as you said, in the How to Be Brilliant group. I was like, I've got this hiccup. And like I know you message, and lots of other people message within like a few hours of me, and I literally got suggestions like this. So it is fantastic. It's been really, really helpful. So what does the future hold? I know you are incredibly busy and you've got loads of things in the pipeline.
So, well, we've got this big goal about 1,000 people with 1,000 books. That's going to take up a bit of time. My world used to be as a speaker. So, in 2019, I was away from home 158 nights. That's a lot of time on the road. And Christine, my wonderful, brilliant wife, she said, Michael, next year, can we travel less? And I said, Christine, I promise you in 2020, we will travel a lot less. And true to my word, Debbie, we travel a lot less. But what that's done is it's made us understand how we can use technology in a really smart way. So I will be doing more of this type of thing. I'm sat in my office here now talking to you. We've got our video cameras on. I use technology in hopefully in a smart way. I don't want to replace me with the technology, so we're doing that. Then I'm definitely writing another book. So I've got two on the go at the moment. All the advice I give other people, never trying to write 2 books at the same time, and I'm doing it. But I'm writing a fiction book for fun.
Oh.
So I'm doing that. Yeah.
And also, do you not have to have a rewrite of 17 because it's completely sold out and more people want to buy it?
Well, the thing with 17 is that it is sold out, which was great. I made a bit of a mistake. I said we'll do 1,000 hardback copies, and I should have said 5,000 for the first run, because it sold out in 2 days or 3 days or something, which was lovely. So there may be a paperback version of 17, and if so, I'll make it a bit bigger and a bit fatter, and add some extra stuff into it, and maybe have some more stories from the people from Team 17 and what they've done, and maybe about a bit more from the streams and that type of thing. So there's that. And then also I'm a grandfather now, and I have this wonderful opportunity. So every Wednesday, our granddaughter comes to us for the day, and then on a weekend we see her for a little bit, and it's just so brilliant to rediscover what it's like to have little ones. And she's 14 months now, into everything. Brilliant watching her development, watching the way her brain works. And we did finger painting, and just forgot how messy and brilliantly messy it is. So I want to spend a lot more time grandparenting as well.
You can't get that time back, can you? You just can't. It's magical. No. And I think also when you are in the position of being a grandparent, it's almost more enjoyable because you don't have all the stress of parenting.
Yeah.
You have all the fun and all the engagement, and they just love you unconditionally.
Yeah. Do you know why grandparents and grandchildren get on so well?
No, tell me.
They have the same mutual enemy.
Well, I don't know about that. So if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to join your any of your groups, how can they contact you?
Well, so basically michaelheppell.com tells you everything. Heppell is Heppell. I'm an ELL Heppell, which is the unusual one. writethatbook.co.uk. I'll have all the Write That Book stuff. And if you go on Facebook and search for How to Be Brilliant, then you'll find the How to Be Brilliant group. And all are welcome.
Yes, and you will connect with some truly fabulous people, because there are some amazing, amazing people in the group. Some of them are, from all walks of life as well, aren't there? Really, really huge, diverse group of people.
And from all over the world.
Yeah.
So we kind of, one day we will have, somebody from New Delhi, and somebody from Norway, and somebody from Holland and Australia, and we've got Russia and Thailand and America, and all these people just coming in from all over. And again, with that same idea, let's just share some stuff.
And they are really, really, they're really great at contributing. I've loved watching some of the videos as well. We have someone from Hell, Paradise on Earth in Norway, and Elizabeth in Barbados, who sends us videos of the sea, which makes me very jealous. But
the thing, Elizabeth's videos, I mean, she's on these beautiful white beaches in Barbados, walking along with her mobile phone, just having a chat. And it's kind of, and then she sent me a message, after about 3 months of, she would maybe do one a week. And she said, do you think I should stop doing them? I said, don't you dare. We escape with you. When you put those films on, it's lovely to hear your voice. She's got that lovely sort of Barbados twang and that type of stuff. But she'll say, let me just show you the beach I'm on. And you hear the water lapping. It's like, I just want to be there.
So where is the first place in the world that you want to go to when it is safe to travel?
Well, we have a big of a place called Formentera, which is the little island just off Ibiza. So we've been going to Ibiza for 40 odd years. And I love that island, but we discovered Formentera, which is its little sister. It's a ferry journey away, and Formentera is like Ibiza in the 70s. It's just so peaceful and beautiful, and so that's the place. I can't wait to get back there. I have missed that a lot.
Well, I think we've all missed lots and lots of things, but you have helped massively a huge amount of people during lockdown, and just so generously, because I know that I spoke to a few people when I said I was going to do this podcast with you, and literally loads and loads of people would not be where they are today without you broadcasting and sharing information. Next week, I'm going to learn how to do newsletters. You're going to teach me next week how to do newsletters.
Yeah. Well, we do. It's going to be good for. This is one of our streams, and I've just, we've got a tech stream. People are frightened of tech, so rather than just kind of going boring, all right, you do this, you do that. We're going to set up from scratch an imaginary business. We're going to set up how to set up a newsletter, how to set up a landing page, how to create, the content for it, and all in 1 hour. That's the idea. The goal is to do it and have it live in 1 hour. But if there's ever a way to learn, it's by watching somebody else's mistakes. So I'm going to be teaching this, and I can guarantee I'm going to make a load of mistakes, but it won't matter, because that's going to be the fun of it. That's going to be the enjoyment. I don't think people want perfect. As Paddy Kilty says, no one cares. Just get on and do something.
No, it's absolutely. So I can't wait for that. And I just wanted to say a massive, massive thank you for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure to chat to you. I've really, really enjoyed catching up, and I always look forward to chatting to you. But it's great to be able to share all of this with our listeners today. So we can look out for loads more books, and actually loads of your authors have written children's books as well. So loads
definitely.
More brilliant children's books. So Michael Heppell, thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Debbie. It's been my absolute pleasure. Be brilliant.
Thank you. That's it for this week's episode. On next week's episode, I'm going to be joined by Richard Bamforth. Richard is the CEO of Vista. They are, again, a global brand. And we're going to hear about what's new, about what goes into the design, and we'll tell you a little secret about how they come up with the names for their pushchairs. Join me next week to hear more.